This is Jonathan Aguilar here for Pro Boxing Fans. Delighted to be joined by the machine, Liam Williams. He is still the British champion, the British middleweight champion, set to defend that on October 10th. Liam, how's the last few months been? Normality has resumed a bit. How have you found it?
Yeah, it's come back to normal a little bit now, and not still fully, but we're getting there. Things are starting to look up. I'm just really happy to be back in action soon, and I'm just happy to be doing what I love doing.
I think everyone loves your Twitter feed because you just look at it and there's always someone getting called out. But you do have a fight with Andrew Robinson on October 10th. Is it fair to say that you are defending the British title because that Andrade fight isn't possible as you are a mandatory challenger, of course?
Yeah, mate. Obviously, my next fight should have been Demetrius Andrade, but obviously with circumstances and everything going on at the moment, as we said before, starting to ease up now, and things are looking better. But right now, this is the best option for me, because I held on to the British title for this simple reason that if anything was to go wrong, I could always fall back and defend it, and be in a title fight rather than just having a fight which nobody really cares about, So yeah, I made the right move, and I'm happy to be defending the British title.
I mean, yeah, as you say, you are the mandatory challenger for Demetrius Andrade. At the moment, that's not possible. But it is actually only your second defence of the British title, which is crazy to think that. And it is a prestigious belt. So in some senses, are you quite happy to be defending your title?
Yeah, of course I'm happy to be defending the British. Is well, for any British fighter at least, it's a big thing. It's one of the best belts in boxing for me. Like, it's champion of Great Britain. It means a lot to me. So, as you said, it's only my second defence where I've actually had. This will be my sixth British title fight, including challenge, 2 defences of the light middleweight title, and then winning it at middle and defending once. So it'll be my 6th British title defence coming up. And it's disappointing that I'm unlikely to get a chance to win it outright, to be honest with you. But you never know. It's just one of them where, a world title is, for me, is bigger and better on every level. As I'm pretty sure every other fighter would say the same. And it's just about keeping active for me at the moment, and it's just a good thing that I've got that belt so I can defend.
I saw some comments that your promoter Frank Warren made saying that the fight is subject to the WBO confirming I wrote it down because of the purse bids, and that possibly you could be withdrawn. Have you heard anything about that at all?
I've seen that. I didn't really know that, to be honest with you. I was like, I seen it. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? But I spoke to Frank. I spoke to the guys at MTK, and they said, there's always a possibility, but I'm pretty sure that everything's kind of smoothed over now, and everybody's in agreement that, we can all go ahead with it.
What are you thinking about Andrew Robinson? What do you know about him? And how do you see the fight playing out?
So technically, I don't think Andrew Robinson is great. Very limited, but he's certainly tough. He's been in some hard fights, so he knows his way around. He knows, just as I said, he's experienced. But I just think my class will be too much for him. I'll have too much power, too much ability. So I'm just going to predict stoppage straight up.
What's it like, sort of mindset-wise, going into a fight that you didn't think you were going to happen, when you have that world title shot there? Is it difficult to get up for a fight which you weren't expecting to take, or is it just the same Liam Williams?
Yeah, to be honest, it was the same for me. Each opponent, they all bring a threat to the table. They're all coming to win, and it's me or them. I beat them, they beat me. I knock them out, they knock me out. So I'm never going to give anyone the chance to I'm never going to underestimate anyone. And you can ask anyone in the gym, trainers, whatever. I'm not one to take anybody lightly, and I train the same way, whether it's Andrew Robinson or Canelo Alvarez. I just constantly, I train hard anyway. I always got that bit of grit, and yeah, there's no risk of me underestimating anyone.
Since you've returned to Sheffield working with Dominic Ingle, has there been anything you've been working on, changing, that you can let us know on?
Not really, to be honest. I just, we always work on new things, new tricks, new shots for each opponent. Just like we just keep progressing with the pad work and learning new little things off each other. It's just a case of training for each opponent, to be honest, and getting a game plan in order. But mainly the game plan is worked on during sparring sessions rather than, pad work. It's good, don't get me wrong, and you can practice things, but pad work's just good for timing the shots and getting you, super fit, really, for me.
For those that don't know, what is an average day in the life of the machine? How does it work?
It's a tiring one. So I'll just wake up, train, back home, breakfast, laze around. Sometimes might have a little walk or go for a coffee with the lads or something. Train again in the evening. Shower, put my pajamas on. That's pretty much me at the moment.
In terms of the training, how many miles would you say you're running a day? How much sparring are you doing? Because I don't think, sometimes it's hard to even imagine how much training you guys are doing.
Yeah, to be honest, we these days I don't run half as much as I used to. We are saying it's only Tuesday now, but I run this morning, and we didn't do a long run this morning. We done some intervals, and that was good. It was a hard session, but as I said, I don't really run a massive amount anymore. Probably twice a week. I tend to mix up a little bit. I try to get a bit of swimming on the weekends. The majority of it these days is my hands are a lot better than they used to be. I used to have terrible trouble, but I'm getting over it now, and I just do a lot more boxing work than I used to, and also I slip a little bit of weights in there now and again as well.
Well, why do you think your training is kind of altered?
It's just a new trainer. Obviously Dom's got his own methods, and he mixes things up a lot more than most trainers I've seen, to be honest with you. He's good at keeping things fresh, and to be fair with you, he's like a book of knowledge. He knows the ins and outs of everything. He needs to know. Sorry, he knows how much I need to be running, pad work, sparring. He mixes things up very well.
One thing I remember Dom saying to me when I spoke to him, I think before the Atlanta's Fox fight, was that since you moved up to sort of Sheffield and you're sort of in that bubble with all the lads and things, that's how he's got the best out of you. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. Like when I was training in Wales, in Cardiff, I'd go to the gym, do my thing, and just go home and live my normal day-to-day life, really. Whereas now, I train, I live, I can see the back of the gym from where I'm sat here now. I literally just train back here, rest, train. There's no, at the moment, there's not very much life outside of boxing for me, which sometimes I do miss. But I know I'm in the right place. I'm doing what I need to be doing because I haven't got no opportunity to let anything slip, you know.
Yeah. One guy I think I saw you sparring was Mark Heffron. He's obviously had that draw with Denzel Bentley on the weekend. What did you make of the fight?
To be honest with you, I didn't watch the fight. I watched some clips. From what I've seen, I think to the eye, I think Heffron's the better fighter. He's got more about him. Don't get me wrong, Denzel Bentley's he's a good fighter. He seems to have a bit of power. He's got a decent reach on him. He's quite long arms, you know, and he looks quite awkward. But all rounded, I think Mark's probably the better fighter. He's got good power. He's got a good jab. And when he's mentally on it, he's a good boxer too. So I just think Mark went in with the wrong game plan. If I'm honest with you, he was loading up a lot, chasing him around, trying to knock him out with one shot. You know, whereas I think if he had approached the fight differently and threw punches and bunches, excuse me, you know, just closed him down a bit better and really stuck it on him, used his experience, I think he would have come out in flying colours. But you know, no excuses. You know, you're only as good as your last fight, and you're only as good as you perform on the night. So I think he'd be better next time. I believe he only spent like 4 or 5 weeks training with his new coach. And for me, I wouldn't have took a fight after 4 weeks of being with someone, because it takes a lot of adjusting, you know, and getting to gel with each other. So maybe that was a bit of a mistake on their part, but they were obviously confident in winning the fight. So, you know, it's just lesson to be learned, I suppose, and next time we'll be better.
I spoke to Denzel earlier today. He believes he won the fight. I know Mark believes he won the fight. If that rematch happens, is there a chance your British title might become vacant and that could be on the line, do you think? Is that the plan for you? Or are you keeping hold of it?
I'm keeping hold of it till they physically come and take it off me, because who knows what's going to happen next. I was in line to fight Andrade, as we spoke about. All this went down, and it's lucky enough that I actually hung on to it, because I got offered the other day. I got offered cash. Somebody offered to pay me to give up the British title.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nothing dodgy from anyone's team or anything like that. But I just got offered a drink, or a drink as they call it, but just a little backhander, you know, give it up and so other people can fight for it. But I said no, it wasn't worth it for me. I could have took an easy couple of grand and walked away from it, but it's worked in my favour now as we spoke. So I won't be giving anything up until they strip me, or I know for certain this fight is happening next.
Right, there's been a load of people you've been linked with, so I want to go through them one by one. Felix Cash, now he defended his Commonwealth title against Jason Wellborn. I don't know, was there any possibility of that fight happening, or is that possibly down the line?
Oh, Felix Cash?
Yeah.
I think it's unlikely, to be honest with you. I don't really know the full situation, but I was told that Frank made him an offer for this fight in a couple of weeks, you know. So, and they didn't want him. Apparently, they made Chris Eubank Jr. an offer as well, and same situation. So, it is what it is. To be honest with you, I'm not focusing on anyone. I've got a fight to come through 3 weeks Saturday, and you know, put him in front of me and I'll knock him out. It's as simple as that. But until they put it in front of me, then couldn't care less.
What do you make of Chris Eubank's move to Roy Jones Jr.?
It is what it is, isn't it? I don't believe he's going to get any better. He's very much stuck in his ways. Him and his dad seem to be quite stubborn people, and they dance to their own tune. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of them. Just see how it goes, and you never know. He might improve. He might not.
That's a fight you'd love, isn't it?
It is, yes. You know, everyone knows that fight will be. It'd be action packed. It'd be full of twists and turns. I think it'd be an exciting fight. Cotto, oh, dogs bite my feet.
Cotto, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a little prick. Yeah, so I think it'd be exciting. I don't think it's one of them fights where we'll go the distance. I think it's obviously me and him are both explosive fighters, and you know we're both very game. And I just think that I couldn't see it going the distance. It'd be very good while it lasts.
Presumably, you think you'd be the one getting him out of there rather than the other way around.
Yeah, 100%, of course. But you know, I'm going to be confident to say that. But who's to say it couldn't go the other way? Do you know what I mean? It's like we're both high level fighters, and I'm realistic. I don't think I'm untouchable. Everybody can be hit. Everybody can be hurt. So it's one of them. That's what makes it all the more exciting.
That's the one thing I've noticed when we spoke before. You've always mentioned these guys, but you've always been realistic enough to say that if you know they're very skilled fighters, and at that level, anything can really happen.
Yeah, exactly, mate. You got it. You just said it all. Really, it's just like you both at a good level. You both, you know, anybody at that level generally can punch hard. They got good skill set, and anything can happen.
Mm. How do you think a fight between you and Demetrius Andrade would play out, considering his type of style, quite awkward? How do you think you'd sort of get through him?
I just think for the first couple of rounds, maybe cagey. Not so much from my part, but he's got that kind of awkward style, and he's probably going to try and move and outbox me. Maybe not. I don't know, but that's how I see it. But I just think I'll stick it on him, and he won't cope with the pressure. He won't. I just think I'll be too much for him, and I'll knock him out.
How much do you think he wants the fight with you?
He doesn't want the fight. I know he doesn't want the fight because he keeps looking for other opportunities, and at the moment, it's kind of like as if I'm his last option. He's only going to take it when he really needs to take it. Sorry, mate. Battery's running below. Yeah, I think he's only going to take it when he really needs to take it. Which he'll have to get someone lined up. If he's not going to, he's going to have to get someone else lined up very soon. Otherwise, he's going to be forced into facing me. You know.
Well, I know you said Munguia is a possible opponent as well. Number 1 versus number 2.
Yeah, again, that's a fantastic fight. I think that's kind of a similar sort of fight to me and Eubank. They're both quite relentless. Both very fit over the distance. Yeah, again, very exciting.
2 more things before I let you go. What's your prediction for Jermall Charlo against Sergiy Derevyanchenko next week?
I think that's a good fight. Derevyanchenko is slightly underestimated because he's got a couple of losses and whatever. But no, how many losses? Has he only got the 1 loss or 2? 2 in there. Jacobs.
Yeah. And Gigi.
Jacobs. Yeah. But they were both very good fights. Just because he's fairly...
Or he won that fight. the Golovkin one.
Yeah, it's because he's fairly inexperienced in comparison to the other champions and the other top contenders. I think he's kind of overlooked sometimes. And I don't know, my heart is saying, fuck, I've gone blank, mind blank. My heart is saying that Charlo's going to win the fight, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if Derevyanchenko pulled it off as well. So it's like, I just think it's a good fight, and I'll be watching because obviously they're both possible future opponents for me, and you know, as a fan, I think it'd be a good fight.
The build up for you and Charlo would be quite something, I think.
Yeah, I think I'd end up slapping him, to be honest with
you. Yeah. Also, Kell Brook, your stablemate. Have you heard any news on a possible Terence Crawford fight? Next question. I presume it's close, but yeah, I'm sure you'd be backing Kell all the way in that.
Yeah, 100%. Now, I'll be straight with you. I've heard a lot of talk about it. I haven't heard the final. Bam! It's on. It's happening. This date, that date. But I think it's looking very likely that it will happen. So, you know, you can never bet against Kell. Really, he's super talented. He can punch very hard. His boxing ability is up there with the best. So, but he is up against, you know, one of the best fighters in boxing. So we'll see. But you know, I'm not going to bet against Kell. I always put him in with a chance. He's very skillful and strong and powerful.
I mean, I saw a lot of people saying this could be one of, if not Terence Crawford's best opponent at welterweight.
Yeah, I believe so. Same.
Last one. I've seen you also had a few words for Idris Virgo. Just give me your opinion on the situation. I know a lot of people in boxing weren't happy with the situation of him throwing water over his opponent. What was your take on it? I could tell you weren't too pleased on social media about it.
Yeah, it's just like, he's just a prick, isn't he? Like, there was no need for it. He boxed the guy. I may be wrong in saying this, but did he have 7 fights, 7 losses, or 1 win maybe?
I believe so, yeah.
And it's like, you swear he's in a world title fight, like having to get a mental edge over him. I felt a bit sorry for the guy, if I'm being honest with you, because he was like, you know, I'm just turning up. I'm going to come and give him a good fight. I'm just providing for my family, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, I felt a bit bad for him, you know, and it was just no need. Like, he was just showing off when he was just trying to, he knew he could do that to that guy. Can you imagine him doing something which he'd done to someone like myself? He would have got his face caved in.
So is a sparring offer on the table?
I've offered him. I even asked where his gym was. I've been on to John Pegg to see if I could go to his gym and bash him up. But he's gone silent. He's just a prick, mate. And if I'm being honest, he doesn't really deserve the exposure because he's done nothing other than get paid off on TV, on fucking Love Island or whatever. So he's just an embarrassment that he's not what you want people to think of boxers. Because generally boxing is it's a respectful game. We all have our, you know, we all give each other a little bit and whatnot, give each other some stick and whatever else. But that was just a bit uncalled for, if you ask me, no need for it. Hopefully somebody's going to put him in his place very soon. And I'll just tell you something now, if I see him in the street, I'll slap him myself, pair of gloves on or not.
Just countering it from his perspective, he might say that, you know, he was just creating hype for the fight and things like that. Would you justify that at all in any way? Because we do see sort of people building
Not,
up and things, or
yeah, but not really, because why does that fight need any hype? It's a shit fight. With respect, none of them are any good. No one wants to see it anyway. Who gives a shit? Building a fight, like, it's just no hype needed. It's a shit fight. It's never going to be a good fight. So whatever you do in the build-up is still a shit fight.
fair enough. All right, Liam, thanks very much for your time. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing this Andrew Robinson fight. Do you have one final prediction for it?
No, just thanks for having me, mate. I'm looking forward to the 10th of October. Excited to be back in action, and make sure you tune into BT Sport, because it's going to be an explosive display.
Brilliant. Liam, thanks for your time, and I'll let you get on with the rest of your evening. Cheers.
Thank you very much, mate. Take care.